We're back working on the turkey.
I've set the propeller aside for the glue to dry, and the glue is now dry. And the mount, I have this mount that I put on here for the propeller. I have screws laid out here, various screws. The bushings, this is the bushing. This is 1/4 inch by 3/16 ID, 1/4 OD, and that's going to go in the bottom to support it on the mount, like that. And I was looking through my screws here. I have a plastic tray with various brass screws, washers, bushings, and I found this screw I took out of an old Whirligig. This was the original screw. This is what it looked like. You can see that. Look at the difference. That thing is worn. It's worn really thin just from the propeller spinning on that thing day in and day out. This is a 13/16 link bushing that will go in the propeller, inside the hub in the propeller. And I'll just tap that in with a hammer. That's a 1/4 inch hole there, but the wood is swelled up a little bit. So that'll go in there. The longer one, the 1.5 inch, will go in the bird. But I have a brass BB here. 1/4 inch, I think it's a little less than a 1/4 inch. About a 1/4 inch brass BB. See the way that sits. I'm going to drop that BB right in here right now. I'll push it in with this rod. Make sure it's all the way in there. Alright, that's home. So now I'll put the bushing in there. This thing is about as big as you want to get for this size bushing. It's you know, it's pretty big. I mean, you'd go to a bigger bushing if you'd have to go to a larger diameter mounting pin for something that's heavier. It's going to be blown around by the wind, obviously. So I use another bushing to push this one all the way home, so it sits. I want it to rest against the bearing, against the BB, so that when the rod goes in there, it rests on the BB. It makes a nice, easy spinning whirligig. Alright, so I think that's all the way home now. Alright, there it is. Now it's a little lopsided forward here because I haven't mounted the propeller yet. I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to support that with a little block or something so it doesn't damage the blades while I'm hammering on it. Got this little, I don't know what that is. It's a piece of scrap metal, but now that'll take the screw. Now that screw, not real happy with enough. I don't think it has enough length. I'm probably going to need a spacer at the back of this right here because of the way these blades stick out. Maybe I'll sand those a little bit. See the way these stick out right here? It's going to hit the wood. So I have a longer screw. Oh, you can see the washer there. That's the 2.5. Now I have to drill my hole. So I'm going to mark this up and drill the hole next. And then we'll set this up and see how much of a spacer that can slide on there. Alright, so I'm going to mark this. Easy way to get the center if you have a square piece. So I'll just drill that, put the propeller on it, and it's, except for the painting, it's essentially done. Probably do a little more sanding I don't know if that gives you a hint of what kind of turkey this is, but I'll throw this up real quick. Those colors is orange and maroon. I'm going to drill the hole that I have marked for the propeller screw. I've got a stub drill in there, which is a drill that's shorter than normal so it doesn't wander as much. I'll go ahead and drill this. That's done. Okay, I'll go back over here to the workbench. I think that's a 2.5 inch number 9 or number 10 wood screw, round head brass wood screw. Gonna need a screwdriver. I put a little spacer in here. Turns pretty good. I don't want this gap this big. I might go in here and shave some of these off. The propeller was sitting too far off the back, and that may have been contributing to it spinning like that. So what I've done is sanded the propeller mount here, sanded it smooth and rounded to give it more clearance on these the edges of the blades that stick out. So what I'm going to do now is turn those edges, smooth those edges down with the Dremel. Alright, let's do a test fit here. Look at that. That's great. It's got plenty of clearance. I don't need the spacer piece. No issues as far as the blades hitting the body. That's it. Now it's time for the paint. I think I'm going to need to give it a coat of white first. Oh, why not? I want to do a test on this. I have some sort of a fan I can turn on. Got my little shop vac. Okay, I'm doing the propeller, and for this side I've got a mask that I cut out of cardboard for feathers. I'm going to do 2 feathers, orange and maroon. On this side I'm going to have this mask I made, so I'm going to spray orange. I cut this scallop pattern out with a hole punch. So that's going to go in there like that. Six. 7/8 are still covered up for the other job. So let those dry. I'm making a mask for the spray paint. So I've got to mask off his comb, the turkey's face. Gonna mask off the comb, painted a different color. So one of my favorite materials to make patterns, masks, is a original premium saltine cracker box. Just the right thickness. So I've taken a peanut butter jar, because it's the right diameter. Just traced around it here. And then the other side of the mask, just draw along the straight edge. I'll cut that out. See what that does. Something like that. Let's see what it does. Something like that. Perfect. Yeah, paint the beak yellow to give a little contrast. Okay, for my interpretation of what the feather looks like, again, the crackers, saltine crackers, and this is the feather cutout. I'll lay this on here somehow and make some feathers. Now we're getting somewhere. And while I'm spraying this one, I've got to mask this one, so I don't, and both these. So I've masked these blades off. Then I'll mask the center off here. Then I can spray the feather. Once that dries, put this back in place and then hit it with the other color. Give it a little contrast.